Welcome back. It's your boy Xpert, and we got episode 2 of the bye week. And I got the greatest Madden user of all time in the building, Mr. Embro. What's going on, my man?
What's going on, Xpert? It's been a long time since we've been in the booth. Let's get it.
All right, man. You got the Packers again this cycle. Was it a difficult decision to take the Packers, knowing that you don't have A-Rod, even though really A-Rod's not, he's only playing a couple seasons, but you have Jordan Love. Was that a difficult decision to take your Packers? You just bleeding green and gold no matter what.
Man, that team could be a 50 overall, and I'm rocking my squad. It was tough last season to play with them Giants, man. It wasn't fun. It didn't have the same vibe, so it was definitely nice to come back home and start a new tradition with Jordan Love season.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think and I was talking about this the other day with somebody watching the Packers play in the NFL. It's crazy to think that the Packers could have Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and if Jordan Love turns in to a great quarterback, they can have those three back to back to back. It's crazy. But let's first talk about this division that you're in. And let's just start with the elephant in the room. You got the bus back in the division with you. What does it mean to have those battles with a guy like the bus, knowing that y'all have gone toe-to-toe for so long in this dynasty, and now you got him again, him with the Bears, you with the Packers. Tell me what that dynamic is about, going back and forth with him.
Hey, man, he's a real-life Bears fan. I'm a real-life Packers fan, so it bleeds to real life and it bleeds to the game. So it's always fun when you can chop it up and have that real-life head-to-head rivalry and then bring it on the stick. So I've been playing the bus for last 5-6 years on Madden. So, I mean, it's always a grind, no matter if it's season one or high stakes, it's always a battle. And so you could see in the first game of the season this year, like it went to the end of the game, the last play of the game it came down to. So it's always fun to have that type of guy and have that type of rivalry in the division. It just makes those games more intriguing and more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then you got a guy like Marley with the Lions, who I don't think gets enough credit for how good he's actually at the game. And then you got a guy like True, who's kind of been maybe that one guy that nobody talks about in this division. He's kind of the guy that's left out, who right now is 4-1 himself. How do you feel about looking up in your division is right now arguably one of the best divisions in this game right now?
Man, everyone was sleeping on our division. I mean, they were all, hyping up the AFC East, rightfully so. Your division. I mean, and we were kind of slept on. But Marley, I mean, when he's actually locked into the game and he's like, okay, I'm locked, he's really good at it. And, that Lions team is good. That's like one of the better Madden teams because, I mean, Jared Goff can pass the ball. They got receivers. They got one of the best O-lines. I mean, I don't know if anyone caught the Lions versus Packers game when we played, but Gibbs is something different, man. He steamrolled my boy Savage, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And, that defense is crazy. You got a great D-line, linebacker. He's got a lot of talent. Marley's always been one of those guys that can draft and develop. So I look to see a big turnover with that team, a lot of new guys coming in. And so I think once he gets the team that he wants, it's going to add that third or fourth person from our division that is always going positive into the season. And True, again, none of us really know much about him. I know he's 4-1, so he's got to be doing something right. I noticed a couple of clips yesterday dropped in the chat from Vitamin. Those Vikings quarterback dropbacks might be an issue, but he must be doing something right to be 4-1. So I think the division's really good. It's really balanced. I don't think you're going to see anyone just run away with it every season. I think those division battles are going to be really tight, and I'm excited for it. And the most exciting part about our division, we all schedule so easily. I can hit up Bus and be like, yo, bro, what time you want to run? And he can give me a time. I don't have to go chasing these guys. I ain't got to go doing any of that craziness. Yeah. Every single one of them is super easy. So shout out to the NFC North for having easy schedules.
Yeah, so you had the Bears week 1. It goes down to the wire. It's a 28-24 victory in Chicago. That's the other thing. You start the year out with 2 away games, then you get the commish nasty Noop. Do you take it easy on the commish, or is that one of those games you're like, I need to put up 60 on this guy?
Oh no, man! When I see Nasty Noop on the schedule, I know he's gonna hop on the mic with me. He's gonna talk that cash money. He told me in the pregame, he's like, man, I ain't had the game long, but I feel like I'm getting a win right now. So I'm like, okay, that's the old school Nasty Noop. I'm like, all right, he's vibing until that second quarter hits and it's 28-0. It's like, oh damn, here we go.
Yeah, listen, Noop he's going 0-17. When you look at Noop's schedule, he may not win a single game except his bye week. Let's just be honest about it. It's the only one, and he may lose the bye week. That's how bad Noop is at the game. He just doesn't spend enough time playing the game. That's I get it. He's got so many other things going on. I get it. Then you go and you play a Saints team, and you just absolutely dismantled the Saints in the home opener. I mean, it felt like everything was just working in that game. I mean, Jordan Love didn't even have to do anything. He had 283 yards. You look at Aaron Jones. It felt like every time you handed Aaron Jones the ball, he had a potential to take it to the crib. What's it like knowing that, hey, my quarterback doesn't really need to do anything. He can just come out here and manage this game. And then we have a guy in the backfield that literally can just take over. And then with this defense, just got after the quarterback against the Saints, was in the backfield pretty much the entire day, forced, I think, 3 or 4 interceptions. And it was just crazy. But what's it like when you have a game like that where you know, hey, everything is just clicking and I really feel like nobody can beat me at this point?
I mean, that game is the only game so far this season where I felt offense was good, the defense was great, and the special teams was great. I mean, I was clicking from the jump. I mean, the first half offensively, I wasn't putting the ball in the end zone. I was really getting annoyed with myself because I was missing passes, missing the run lanes. I think I kicked like 6-7 field goals in the first half.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was kind of annoyed at me, but the defense pitched a shutout in the first half. And he didn't score a point until like the fourth quarter. So, I mean, he had like 0 passing yards going through 3 quarters. So I felt really good from that standpoint. But, you know, Aaron Jones, the offensive line to me actually blocked in that game. I had a clip on the goal line where my center did a double block where he hit the DT and then went straight for the linebacker and he depleted Pat Werner. So, I mean, it was like, okay, my guys were vibing. And maybe it was the home opener, I don't know. But that was the one game where I thought, hey, all 3 phases were clicking and playing really good ball.
Yeah, and then you get the tough matchup versus Mar that you talked about a little bit earlier, where it kind of went down to the end of the game. You win that game 37-31. Jordan Love has probably his best game of the year versus the Lions. But then the game we really want to talk about is the game right before the bye. Are you just ready to get to the bye week and you take the Raiders and Omatic a little light? Or is that just one of those games where you can chalk up and say, listen, I'm still trying to figure this Madden out. And when it's not going right, it's hard to get it turned back around in a game?
Man, to be honest with you, I was shocked to see Randy at 3-1. I'm thinking, damn, he's 3-1 with the Raiders. Like, the Raiders don't – I mean, they got a good team, but, like, not like one of those Madden good teams. So I'm like, all right, he must be doing something right to be beating the Chargers and beating some of the teams he had on the schedule. And, you know, when he told me he could only play at midnight Eastern, I'm like, damn, I feel like I'm getting set up. So he came out, man, and he pounded the rock. I mean, he had probably about 35, 40 carries, and I couldn't stop it. And I'm not going to discredit nothing he did because he beat my ass, in my opinion. I lost by 3, but it felt like I lost by 40. I mean, that's the way it felt from my point of view because I had Josh Jacobs in the backfield. Like, I'm thinking, oh, cool, tackle for loss. Nope, he breaks 3 tackles, takes it for 80 yards. So I'm like, he had the great game plan. Run the ball, play sound defense, and keep the ball in his possession. And that's what he did, man. And so it's one of them trap games where you think, okay, I've beaten this user enough times. I feel confident. Let me go line it up with Jordan Love, you know, and nope, I throw 4 picks, lose by 3, and then now I'm getting trolled in the chat, you know, by those Jimmy G memes. So, you know, it's one of those things where hats off to him. He played a great game, but definitely I can't stop the run game. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm paying Kenny Clark $20-something million, and I need to have that milk carton out there because I ain't seen him yet.
Are we adding Omatic to the list of users you just don't want to lose to in the dynasty? Like, I don't think Omatic's on that level, is he?
He's not on Flair HBO's level, man. I mean, Randy will troll you, but Flair and them dudes, man, they take it to another level. Like, you lose to one of them guys, like I said the other day.
Listen. I mean, I know what you mean. Now, listen, I'll say this. Listen, if you're going to troll me, at least spell my damn name right. At least get my birthday right. Do some of those things right. But it's okay. I get it. That's those guys' Super Bowl, right? I mean, obviously,
yeah.
There's no way you're making the playoffs. You're not making any noise in this league. So I get it. That's the Super Bowl when you beat a top echelon guy. I get it. And you got to just tip your hat because just like you couldn't stop Josh Jacobs, there's just no stopping Derrick Henry. And when I figure out how to stop the run, I might be pretty good at this game. I feel that offensively, I feel pretty good, but I defensively, I can't stop a nosebleed right now. But if you
feel the same way, man.
If you look at this roster that you have in Green Bay, and we're going to get to the back half of this schedule after your bye week here in week 6. But when you look at this schedule that you got and this team that you got, do you feel this is a team that can compete for a championship right now?
Realistically, based off of the stick skills plus the pieces that are in place, I do think I can compete for that. It's tough when you play guys like Andy Force, Bus, and Hot Tub, and OG with them Seahawks. And there's a lot of great teams in the NFC. And it's going to be tough because, they got a lot better teams and they're really good at the game. So, yeah, I could be there, but I think for me, realistically, let me get a season or two of maybe making some roster adjustments, get some other pieces that I may think may be better fitted for me. Then I think I could be like, you know what? I'm in that Super Bowl conversation. Because right now, I mean, you look at Hot Tub and Andy Force, man, they're balling. I mean, they're playing great defense. They're playing great offense. I mean, Dak Prescott is lighting the league up, And so it's like, am I there yet? No. But in due time, I think it'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, I also don't have my second best corner in Eric Stokes. He's been sitting on the IR since preseason, and I can't seem to take him off. So I'm out there putting out a 64 overall rookie corner, so guys can see, hey, he's weak at this spot. Let me attack it.
Yeah. So when you look at this roster, do you feel like the back end of this defense is really probably the spot where you look at it and say, okay, we got to find a way. I mean, you talk about, you got Dane Belton at strong safety. Obviously, you have Savage still playing free safety, who's a really good player for you. You talked about the guy opposite of Jair in Kalon Barnes, Valentine, the rookie out of Kentucky. Do you feel like maybe this, even though you're struggling with the run game right now, do you feel like this secondary can be a problem for you, knowing we got youth here plus not really highly rated defensive guys that can step up and make us stop when we need it, especially versus a team like the Cowboys who have prolific wide receivers, the 49ers who got like Debo Samuel and Ayuk and teams like that. You feel that's where you're going to struggle the most?
I mean, I've always been a DB guy. Anyone that knows me, that plays with me, they know I love DBs. I can have 18 defensive backs and 2 linebackers, and I'm cool with it. I'm just that kind of a person. So, I think once I get Stokes back, I think that becomes the strength of my team, is knowing, hey, I got a great tandem at corner. I got 2 safeties that can run well, that can play the ball well. I'm like, I feel confident at that point knowing, hey, all I can do is focus on playing the run. Because if I can figure out how to play the run defense, I'm going to be all right. But right now, I still feel confident in my DBs. Belton's a young guy. Why skill trade? Let him go in the practice squad. Don't ask me. I'm like, hey, that's a young dude that can play. Cool. I needed another safety. I plugged him in there. So I think as time goes on, that group's only going to get better. But I will say, I need Jair to play like Jair.
Yeah.
I can't have some practice squad receiver that Randy picked up 2 weeks prior who's like a 65 overall making catches on this guy. Like, you're supposed to be the number 2 corner on the game. I want you to play like the number one, not play like my rookie 65 overall corner.
Right.
So I've seen where people are picking on Jair. Don't ask me why, because normally, hey, they see 23, they're not throwing at him. But Randy did it. Marley did it. I know Buss did it. Hell, I think Mooney mossed him for a long touchdown. And so I've noticed that some guys have been throwing them at him and not really having that same fear. So I got to figure out how I can strike that fear back in these guys. Say, hey, don't throw at him. So I need him to play better and cause some turnovers and be that guy that you're being paid to be.
All right, let's talk about your quarterback, Jordan Love. Obviously, being a Packer fan in real life, you know everything there is to know about this guy. But after 4 or 5 weeks into the season here, you feel like this is the guy that's going to lead the Packers through this whole cycle?
So I'm like 75% yes, 25% no, because I got some games, man, where I'm like, this kid's on it. He can move well. I feel like there's some plays where everyone's locked up, and I can take off with Jordan Love and get 10, 15 yards. But then I got some games where I miss wide open touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a game versus Randy. I came out, it was in the fourth quarter. Christian Watson beat the corner deep. Would have been an easy touchdown, overthrew it. So I watched a lot of these things where I'm like, hey, in games, playoff games, you can't miss those. And so this was pretty much my trial run for Jordan Love. Like, hey, let me see what you can and can't do. And he can do a lot, but I need those clutch moments. I know, hey, I knew with Rodgers or any other player that I had built up that I know when it's go time, I can count on you to make those throws. And he has his moments, but it's still some growing pains where I've missed a lot of touchdowns and I've thrown some dumb interceptions, which I knew I would do in season one. I mean, he's a young, low overall quarterback, but I think he can be that guy. I think, I want to see how this season plays out. I hate turning the ball over. Anyone that knows me knows that I hang my head on my defense and not turning the ball over. And my defense has been trash so far, and I've turned the ball over way too many times for my liking. So Jordan Love this is the telltale sign to see, can he grow into that role on being the long-term dude for me? Because I know some guys don't want to pay their quarterback.
Yeah. So,
there may be guys out there wanting to move their, big-time QB to save money. So it's a make-or-break year for me with Jordan. So I'm hoping he is the guy because I love Jordan in real life. So I'm hoping I can stick with him all, 6, 7, 8 seasons we play in here.
Okay, I had a Packer fan reach out to me, knowing that you were going to be on the show this week. And matter of fact, it's the president of the A.J. Dillon fan club wondering why Embro is not using A.J. Dillon in this offense.
So to be 100% honest, I love A.J. Dillon when it comes to Madden in general, but I know I can't sign him. So I know I'm not going to feed a guy that I know I can't keep. So for me, I'm like, if I have to use him, I'm going to use him. But I'm limited on cap space. I just had to pay Gary a crap ton of money, had to pay some other guys that I wanted to keep long term. And so money's tight. So for me, I got Aaron Jones on the hook for 1, 2 more seasons. Right. I'm going to feed him the rock. Now, when playoff time comes around, people aren't going to see A.J. Dillon much in the season. But playoff time, that's a different type of ball. And so I know he's kind of like in my back pocket, like, okay, I know he's a great back. I know he can run the ball well in the game. I'm going to utilize him when I need to. But to me, it would be kind of, hurting Aaron Jones's, statistics or his XP on giving carries to a guy that probably won't be back next season.
Gotcha. I'll make sure. I know he's going to watch the show because A.J. Dillon has 0 snaps this season for the Green Bay Packers, which is just weird because he is a star running back in that backfield. Let's talk about this wide receiver core. Obviously led by Christian Watson. I didn't think we'd be saying, I mean, when we look at the Packers in pass, you got guys like Devontae Adams, you got Randall Cobb, you got all of these great guys. And, you've had some that have left to go to the other green side in New York to play with the Jets. do you feel confident in this wide receiver core? Because you're spreading the ball around like you're trying to find who that guy could be. Right now, your security blanket for Jordan Love is obviously the tight end, Luke Musgrave, the rookie out of Oregon State, who you really, really like at 6'6", 230 plus pounds, 250 plus pounds. I mean, it's a big kid that can run at 87 speed. Are you trying to find who that number one guy is on the outside, or you think the draft is where you're going to look for that next star?
So what's crazy is like every Madden cycle, I know, hey, Devontae Adams is coming up for a contract. I can't afford it. I got to find that next guy. Like for years, I was going through that, trying to figure out where those next wave of receivers. So I was always drafting receiver early. So I had to find that guy. I don't even feel that pressure right now to find that guy in a draft because Christian Watson's 24, Dobbs is 23, Jaden Reed 23, Musgrave. I mean, all these guys are really young. And so, yeah, you're trying to find that go-to guy, which I don't think I have that go-to guy because I think I've spread the ball around pretty evenly. I'm a big fan of Romeo Dobbs. I think he may be the best receiver I have in general because of his route running compared to Watson, who just got crazy speed, So I actually like this young group. They're young like Jordan, so I'm hoping that they all can grow together. I'm really excited for the tight end. I think Musgrave is, kind of like that, Travis Kelce, Gronkowski type build, like it's a big dude that can move. And once he kind of grows into maybe developing his route running and stuff, I think he's going to be a mismatch nightmare. Especially in the goal line situations where I struggle on offense. Like I've had some plays where I've actually dialed up plays specifically for him, and you can throw the ball high or the outside, and he goes out and gets it, which I love about him. Not too many players that are rookies you find can go do that. And so he's probably my most exciting young piece that I enjoy to use just because of the athletic, freakish ability he has and what he can be down the road as long as, he continues to grow with his team. So I wouldn't say I have a true number one, but I'm hoping that one of them guys takes the lead, whether it's Watson, Dobbs, Musgrave. I need one of them guys, to say, hey, I'm that dude. Hold up. I'll find it.
All right, let's take a look at this schedule for the back half of this year. You come out the bye week, you got Dub. I don't even know if Dub's going to be back from vacation. He's in Dubai or Brazil or South Africa. Who knows?
Bronco, man. Brazilian Bronco.
Who knows where Dub is at? When you're wealthy, when you have that level of wealth, you're just on a different beach every single week. So it's just difficult to kind of decide if you want to come back and play your games. So we'll just skip the Broncos. Even if he was here, that's obviously a dub. Week 8, really, I think we can circle on the schedule and say, this is the true test going up against true talent, right? You're at home. The Vikings come into town week 8. Who is the big alpha dog in this division? How do you feel about that matchup going into week 8 versus the Vikings?
Well, I think I've only played him one other time. It might have been last cycle. And I beat him pretty good, different teams, different game and all that. So I feel pretty confident by then that I'm going to figure something out to try to play better. So I'm going to give myself the benefit of the doubt, being the user I know I can be, to come out there and make a statement and say, you know what? I can't fall behind the Vikings. One, I hate the Vikings. They're ugly colors. I just don't like them. So I can't take an L, to a division mate. And so that is the statement game because he's winning, I'm winning. Those games are going to be pivotal at the end of the season to see, hey, who's going to win the division, maybe get a bye, all that stuff. So I think at that point, I will be in a better space. So I'm going to give myself the benefit of the doubt that I'm going to come out with the win in that game.
Gotcha. Then the following week, week 9, you're home again versus Steelos. And his name is still Steelos because he's losing like a Steelos would. You get the Rams at home. Is that an easy victory? Or do we see maybe Styles make a guest appearance that week?
You may see Styles come out with a guest appearance because, he likes to troll and stuff. And him and I have had our past issues. So I think he may bring his A game just because it's me. I think I may get like one of those Randy type games where I'm like, hey, they know they're playing me, so they're going to bring their A game. Whether he wants to really win or not, that's a different story. So I think you may see the true Styles come out. but I'll still give myself the benefit of the doubt that I'm going to get a win that week.
All right, then you go into Pittsburgh to play the big homie. We'll just skip that. That's an easy W. Then you got Centaur and the Chargers. And if I remember correctly, Embro, and you're a Dynasty historian, I believe as we were going into this cycle, Centaur talked a lot about how he was going to take over, how he was going to be good with these Chargers. And that really hasn't panned out that way. Is that a difficult game, or do you feel like that's an easy W versus Centaur?
Man, honestly, I haven't watched Centaur play so far. I know he's like, 2-3 or 3-2. I know he's kind of like in the middle of the road right now. I don't know how much he's played. That team's a built team. It's like the Cowboys and the Niners. Like, they're ready-made.
Yeah.
They got a quarterback like Herbert and a defense like they got. I mean, they're just stacked at every single position. And so I'm assuming by that point I'm going to get a really good game from Centaur. He learned the game last cycle with the Saints. I mean, you couldn't stop Kamara for nothing, man. Like, that dude was running for 2,500 yards a season. I mean, he learned how to play. So I'm not sure if he's quite there yet. So we'll see. I'm hoping it'll be a good game. I see him struggling a little bit more than what I am right now. So I see it being a closer game. So, but I'm gonna take a dub in that one.
All right, then you get the second matchup. You go to Detroit, and you got the Lions. You got to make a statement versus these Lions, as that first game was kind of close. You got to go in there and handle some business, or does Marley clip the Packers here?
So I think this is a game where I'm gonna get clipped in, because Marley kind of got screwed in the first game because they gave me a touchdown, even though it was a pass breakup. They called it a touchdown. It was one of those, refs close their eyes and, one of them home field advantage. So I think, he knows how to play me. He watches my games. We talk all the time. So he knows how I play. So he can probably see when I'm coming out on offense, hey, these are the plays he's running. And so unless I can figure out how to stop the run, Jamari Gibbs will probably run for 200 on me, man. So I'll probably take an L in that game.
All right, then you got a tough matchup the following week at home versus King Vitamin and those Chiefs. How you feel about that matchup?
So Vitamin's been struggling too. I've watched a couple of his, games where, Patrick Mahomes, who's the best quarterback in the game, he's turning the ball over a lot. And so, again, we're talking about weeks on the road, so guys can adjust. But he's kind of in the same boat where he's turning the ball over and giving up a lot of points. And so I think at that point, I'm going to hopefully find my groove, and I think I'll be able to get a win that day.
All right, then you're in New York to play the Giants. That seems like an easy win for you. And you get Never Quit in those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another easy W for you. Then you get the mysterious one, Mr. C-Rob. Is C-Rob one of those users where you just never know what you're going to get? He's kind of like maybe Omatic, where you're either going to get an A game from him and you're going to battle the whole game and hope to get a W, or is it and then on the other side, he just struggles the whole game and you blow him by 55 points. Is that one of those games you look at and say, which C-Rob do I get?
Oh yeah, C-Rob, I think he may be in Brazil with Dub for all we know. He's out of the country, so he ain't been playing the game, and so it's gonna take him some time to kind of like figure out, okay, get back in the rhythm. I don't think he'll have enough time before then to kind of figure it out. So I think it'll be one of those C-Rob maybe putting up a 50 piece on him. Just because of him not playing the game all that much.
Yeah. Then you end the season with two divisional matchups. You get True in Minnesota, and then you got to come home and finish the year in Week 18 versus the Bears. Hey, do you feel at this point here at Week 17 you've already got the playoffs kind of sewed up, and maybe even the division at this point?
So at that point, I'll have two losses? Two, maybe three losses at that point. So I think I'll get the dub in Minnesota. I think by then I'll have a better feel of the game and, understanding maybe what True does based off the first time I play him. So I think I'll secure the season sweep on the Vikes. Now the Bucs in Week 18, I think him and I are going to be going neck and neck for either the division or even a wild card spot. So he's going to bring his A game, 110%. And the Bears start out Week 1 against the Packers. They're going to finish Week 18 versus the Packers. So, I know he's kind of probably bitter from the week one how it ended. So I'll probably take an L in week 18, knowing that hey, if I got the division wrapped up, I'm trying to prevent some guys from getting hurt. Maybe not push the envelope and do something stupid to risk the playoff run.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this NFC and how stacked it is on the top end. You talk. I started the show off by saying I got the greatest Dynasty user ever, and that's no slight at anybody else. Obviously, we can put users like the OG Chris Murray, Hot Tub, Andy Force, the Bus. We can put those guys into that category as multiple banner winners in multiple Maddens. And so when you look at this top-heavy NFC, do you feel like this is just going to be a dogfight every single season?
Oh man, it's going to be a dogfight all cycle. Even when the divisions came out, you're like, damn, like the NFC was stacked. Yeah. I mean, you could just see at least every division had at least one really good user.
Right.
And so I know Hot Tub, I mean, he's firing on all cylinders right now. I mean, like I said, he looks like the number one person in the league.
Yeah.
Just off of how he's playing offensively, defensively. Andy Force, I don't care what time of day you play this guy. If he's got the worst team, the best team, that dude's probably one of the few people that gives me the most fits on the game.
Yeah.
Just because, he just plays the game straight up. He doesn't give you none of the BS. And he's just a baller, man. I don't care if he's chugged 4 or 5 beers in his system. Like, he's ready to go. And I don't know how he does it, but every cycle he's that way. Bus, obviously, top tier. You got OG with them Seahawks, man. Like, the Seahawks are mad and ready. Like, that's a great team. I mean, how do you defend a team that's got 43 receivers that can run, a tight end that can run, 2 running backs that can run? I mean, and the defensive speed that he has, it's just a great team. And Bino, I know Bino's struggling, but the Eagles are loaded. Like, the Eagles have, outside of the Dolphins, have the most stacked team in the game. And so I think once Bino kind of figures it out, maybe he'll be a wild card team. Like, that's going to be a team to reckon with all cycle. There's a lot of great, and even the Lions and the Vikes, you see what they're doing already. Once these guys kind of figure it out on how they want to create their team, they're all really good users. And so I don't think you're going to have a clear-cut winner every single season, which is good. It brings parity to the NFC and also the league. And so it makes for a wild and fun ride at the same time being in this conference.
Right. And so do you feel this is a Madden where you could hang multiple banners, or do you think, I mean, just looking at the NFC, you got 5-6 guys there at the top that have more than one banner already in the Madden history, and then you look at the AFC side and there's multiple guys over there. Do you feel like we have now, probably more than ever, the top 10 people in the league all have an opportunity to win a banner, where there were times when you kind of looked at and you said, hey, if I can beat these 2 guys in the playoffs, I'm pretty much going to secure myself a championship? You think we have more parity in the Dynasty now than we ever have?
Oh, I 100% without a shadow of a doubt believe that. I think just say the last 3-4 cycles, you knew, hey, if I could beat this guy and this guy, I can almost secure myself a spot in the championship. I mean, you've seen cycles where Hot Tub has ran off, 4, 5, 6, Super Bowls in a row. You've seen Rob have been able to do it. You, Bus, I mean, plenty of people, plenty of people have done that. But now I really think that this game, especially the way the game plays, it's so much more balanced. You don't think the passing is OP. You don't think the running is OP. You think like the actual gameplay is pretty well done if it stays this way. But just the users itself and the way it is, I don't know if you'll see a repeat winner this year at either conference. I don't know if you'll see a conference champion and go back-to-back Super Bowls.
Right.
That's how good I think both conferences are balanced. And I really think that you may not see a multiple banner winner this cycle.
That's crazy.
It's tough right. Because there's a lot of good players.
Yeah.
A lot of good teams. And but that just speaks volumes to where these guys are starting out and how I think it's going to, transpire through the course of the cycle. So, It'll be interesting to see. So, but to answer your question, do I think I could be a multiple banner? My goal is always to at least hang one. If I can bring one back to Green Bay, hang in the Raptors, that's my goal always. But I'm hoping to at least secure one in the bag for me.
Yeah. All right, last question. I'm going to let you get out of here. If it's the way too early draft for the Green Bay Packers, if the draft is tomorrow, what position do you feel right now on this team as it stands today that you have to take a hard look at and say, we have to secure this position to make us a good team to an elite team here in the Dynasty?
So interior O-line and interior D-line. It's simple as that. You got to start in the trenches, man. I look at Kenny Clark, still a great player, even though he's MIA right now. He's on a milk carton. But I know when it comes time, he's going to be there. But outside of Kenny Clark, ain't none of them guys stepped up. I mean, so when I'm getting gashed because they're hitting the weak spots. And so I know I got to find a dude that I can pair with Kenny Clark to say, hey, when these guys are running, inside zone, stretch, power run, whatever, I know these guys are going to be in the backfield causing chaos. So I need that. I don't think Devontae Wyatt's that guy. I think he's an average player, but do I think he's like one of those, he's that dude type of players? No. And interior O-line, again, with the cap, I mean, guys are making money, and I got to find possibly a new center, a new guard. So I'm going to be looking at those positions in the draft just because you got to look at the rest of the offense is pretty young, and possibly running back. Aaron Jones is going into his final year, I think, next year. I already mentioned to you before that A.J. Dillon, he probably won't be back because of the cap restraint. So maybe running back, but, we're always willing and dealing. We're always in the business of, making trades and stuff. So we'll see what we can muster up in the offseason. Those draft plans may change.
All right. It's Embro. It's those Packers playing well. Anything you got for the Dynasty before you get out of here?
Hey, fellas, it's a new cycle. I know we hit, kind of had a little bit of a downtime because we had to wait for the patch and stuff. But, man, get them games in. Drop the content. I mean, I don't care if you're just posting pictures of your team, man. Put it out there. I mean, let's make the cycle let's make this cycle a better cycle than last.
Yep.
Get the DML popping like it was back in the day. You and I were talking earlier about how there's been some vibes where it's like, oh man, this feels like the old DML. Let's get back to that point. So I don't care what you're doing, do something, and just put your stamp on the league, man. And chop it up in the chat. Talk on your stream. Talk that shit if you want to talk it, man. Let people know that you're there and let everyone know that we are still the #1 league on PlayStation.
No doubt. All right. If you are not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video out, leave a comment on which team you can't wait to see on the bye week. We're going to hit them up every single week. Until next time, it's your boy Xpert, and I'm out.